Hey, it's Spence, and welcome to another Prosperous Musician where we talk about music, money, and marketing. And today's video, what I want to talk to you about is overwhelm and sabotage. So I just wondered if you, as an online marketer or a freelancer or a self-employed musician or entrepreneur, how you feel on a day-to-day basis. Are you generally fired up and you've got a plan and a goal? Or do you sometimes find yourself sabotaging yourself? Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed? Do you sometimes feel like you're confused and you don't know what to do next? You find yourself going from one offer to another offer and not getting results with any of them? Well, guess what? I do too. And I think it's not uncommon. I think it's very common. And maybe if people spoke out more and got honest about where they're at, maybe it would be easier for us all. It's very easy in this online world to be overwhelmed, to compare yourself with others who seem to be doing it a lot easier, having much better results. And especially when you're just starting off, it can be overwhelming because everyone else seems to be up and running and you're sort of going very slowly. So it might not be your case at all. You might be up and running and have no problem with any of it. But I guess I'm talking to people who are maybe struggling a little bit and maybe have some sabotaging things that are going on which they don't even realize. So I guess what I wanted to just talk a little bit about is in this video is just maybe naming some of those ways that we can sabotage ourselves and spotting them. And then that's the first step really to identifying them and then doing something about them. So I just want to run through a few of them and see if you recognize any of them in you. You might not. But if you do, then you can do something about it. Once you know it, once you name it, then you can do something about it, right? So here we go. I'm just going to show you the list. Let me just move myself over here. Here we go. And that's just on my Facebook page. So here we go. Let's get on to it here. So we've got the list here. So this is taken off. I'll put the site down below, but this is a list that I've taken from a website, and I'll include the website link down below. So there you go. We can see we've got time indifference. We put off what must be done and do not use our time to support our own vision and further our own goals. So is that you? Do you feel like you've got these big dreams that you want to do, but you never get around to doing them? And procrastinate on the things that you should be doing? Does that feel like you? Idea deflection. You compulsively reject ideas that could expand our lives or careers and increase our profitability. So again, an example of that would be that, hey, somebody said to you, hey, you should really think about starting up your own music studio or photography studio or yoga studio, or you should really think about taking up acting because you're really good. And immediately, without thinking, you go, no, I'm too old for that, or no, the market's too saturated, or haven't got enough money, or haven't got enough time, or my wife won't let me do it, or husband. So is that you? Do you find yourself naturally pushing ideas away before you've even actually sat with them, thought about them, and given them some credit? The compulsive need to prove. Number 3, although we have demonstrated competence in our jobs or business, we are driven by a need to reprove our worth and value. So an example of that could be that you're, maybe you keep taking courses. Maybe that's you. Maybe you want to get more qualified in something before you do it. Or you just find yourself going back and doing another course before you actually, instead of launching a business and trying to monetize something, you'll just do another course and another course and another course and try to prove to people how good you are instead of actually doing what you want to do. Clinging to useless possessions. So this could be broken appliances, threadbare clothing. So do you find yourself holding on to things that don't work anymore? Gives examples there, like sort of threadbare clothes, broken appliances, could be broken cutlery, broken plates, old books that you don't really use anymore. Anything really that is broken and been stashed away and just is taking up space that you know you're never going to use, but you somehow just can't bear to get rid of it because you think you're always going to use it in the future. Maybe that's you. Exertion, exhaustion. We habitually overwork, become exhausted, then underwork, or cease work completely. That's number 5. So, does that feel like you? Are you somebody who really goes for it, really pushes and pushes and pushes, and then sort of has to take 2 or 3 days off and does nothing, or might take a whole year off, or don't work for a long time? You know, could be anything like that. So, extreme behaviour, extreme overwork, and then underworking. Is that the pattern that you do? Giving away our time, number 6. We compulsively volunteer for various causes or give away our services without charge when there is no clear benefit. Now, this is a classic one for musicians, isn't it? If you're just getting started in music, and indeed in a lot of creative pursuits, it seems to be there's a lot of opportunities to do something for nothing. And it all sounds very good because, you'll get exposure, and somebody might be there who likes you, or that's just the way you do it. And that's not true, because as a musician, your services are just as important as anybody else's. And, the fact that you've paid lots of money for equipment, that you've invested in yourself time and money for lessons and perfecting your craft, all that needs to be paid for, And sure, when you're first starting off, you might do a gig for free just to get some practice. But generally, there's a point where you get to where you shouldn't be doing things for free if you're competent. And if it's not for money, then there should be something else in it for you. So it should be, instead of exposure, it could be maybe playing for a showcase, or could be playing in exchange for food, or recording time, or any kind of skills exchange. Yeah? So you shouldn't really be doing anything for absolutely nothing. There should be definitely something in it for you as well. But is that you? Do you find yourself undercharging or giving away your time? So I've just hinted at the next one, which is undervaluing and underpricing. Undervaluing your skills and abilities, fear asking for compensation or what the market will bear. So do you feel like you undercut yourself? Do you feel like you need to charge a lot less than everyone else because you're not worth it, because you haven't got the skills the same as everyone else, or you're just starting off, so you can't feel you can charge as much? So a good way around that is to see what actually people are charging, and just so you've got an idea of what the market will bear, because you could be going in way too high without realising it. Or more often than not, sometimes you go under because you think if you don't go lower, then you're not going to get the gig, and that's not always true. So isolation, which used to work alone when it might serve us better to have co-workers, associates, employers. Now that's a big one if you're an entrepreneur, or you're working, doing online work like this, or you're a musician. It can be very easy to work on your own. And get stuck in that, not working with others, not sharing your ideas with others, not collaborating with others. It's really important to have a team, even if you're self-employed and you work by yourself, to get to networking events, to collaborate with others. If you're a musician or a songwriter, to write with others. You can't do it all on your own. It's very hard if you do. Physical ailments, number 9. Sometimes out of fear of being larger or exposed, we experience physical ailments. Now this is an interesting one, because I remember I got the opportunity to do a TV show in New York, right? It was a big deal for me. And I remember planning all the flights and getting funding and everything, doing a lot of promotion to do it. And then when I got there, as soon as I got to New York, with 5 days to go, I got really ill. I got really sick, and it wasn't just, and guess where it affected me? You got it? My throat, my nose, the things that I need to sing clearly with were blocked, and I was coughing, and my nose was running, and of course that could be just, coincidence that I got sick. It's very easy to get sick on an aeroplane, but it's happened a few times where you can get, because you being larger, you're being public, you're being exposed, you may be being very vulnerable. Your body will sometimes try and shut down or try and sabotage you. Subconsciously, you want to sabotage because you don't want to be seen, you don't want to be bigger. Now that might not be you at all, but maybe you relate to that. And number 10, misplaced guilt or shame. So we feel uneasy when being asked for given what we need or what we're owed. So again, this ties into very much, I think, giving away our time and undervaluing and underpricing. So you feel guilty when you're asking for money. So if you've agreed a fee with somebody and they're not paying you, you feel guilty about asking. Or you feel guilty about asking for a raise if you've been in a job a long time and you feel like you're doing a good job, but you never ask for money because you don't feel like you're worth it. Maybe that's you. Maybe you feel, maybe you can relate to that. So not following up, this is again a classic one for us musicians. So you get a gig. Let me just pop that. Thank you, Jason. When you get a gig and you somebody says, "Oh yeah, give us a call and we'll sort something out," or you meet somebody and you get something going and you say, "Okay, yeah, well we'll have a meeting and we'll talk about it," and you book it in, and it never happens. Either they don't follow up or you don't chase it up. And of course, we've got to accept that in the music business specifically, and in lots of other businesses, but it's well known in entertainment and music, that rejection is just part of it, isn't it? That you're not always going to get something going on the first go. Sometimes you have to keep following up, keep asking, keep following up and keep asking, keep reminding people, because people are busy, people forget, just like you do, just like I do. So it's good to develop a persistence, right? And to always follow up until you get an absolute no, until they say, look, it's just not going to happen. No, never, ever. That's it. You're out. No. Then maybe think about not following up. But other than that, until you've got an absolute, either a positive yes or a definite no, maybes, and keep calling out, keep trying, keep asking, because sometimes it's all a timing thing. When they said no originally, it might be because the timing was wrong. You keep trying, and you go, oh yes, yeah, your name's on the top of the list because you keep asking. Yes, there is a thing there, and I've had that before when I've called an agent, and he just happened to have his book in front of him. I've called him 2 or 3 times before, left messages, nothing. I was ready to give up. I gave him a call on the 4th time, and he had his notebook open, he had his diary open. He said, right, let's book you in. And that was that. If I hadn't called, I would never have got those gigs, and I got 5 gigs out of that. So you've got to keep persisting, keep calling. Don't take rejection personally. And stability boredom would create unnecessary conflict with co-workers, supervisors and clients, generating problems that result in financial distress. Now, is that you? Do you find yourself? All these are sort of, there might be many others, so be interested to know which ones you relate to. And so drop it down in the comments below. And please hit the like button and the subscribe button and the share button if you think there's people who might want to hear more about this. And I'll drop the link to where I got this from down below, and I shall see you on the next one.